culture is power, history is knowledge. Now, let's talk about the word Chicano. If you don't know, you should know that the word Chicano was very popularized by the Chicano movement in the 60s. The Chicano movement made Chicano very popular and recognized for those to identify with. Now, this, as in the word Chicano, prior to the movement, nobody really knows where it really came from, where and who created the idea of being Chicano, the term, the word. Some say it was used as a discrimination against so-called Mexican Americans or Mexican people in general by Texas Rangers or police or Border Patrol, and the word Chicano just became popularized and just people identified with it or called each other that somehow. Nobody, from watching all the videos that I could have about Chicano, so-called Chicano Mexican American history, as old as they get, as old as the people are, nobody says this is where we got the word Chicano and this is why we started using it for the movement. It was just there, and so it got used. Now, I've seen Cheech Marie. I remember years ago, some people would say Chicano comes from the word Chico because it means small, and it became something big. And that, I know when they said that, they seen the Cheech video, because he says that. Where does the word Chicano come from? What does it mean? Or it comes from Chicago. Mexican Americans from Chicago call themselves Chicanos. Like I said, it's a discrimination. But the movement really popularized it and it made it something. And then after the movement, it became just stamped as in the meaning Mexican American, which it's more than that. Like I said plenty of times, you've seen in my video, Chicanos not just Mexican Americans. And I explained that in my videos, but this I'm saying, where does it come from? Now, most modern people in the time, the Mexica movement really kind of made it popular, but who knows where they got it from? But they say, Mexico comes from Chicano. Chicano is Mexico because MEX, Mexico, X makes the sound, but more in modern Spanish, it's Mexicano instead of Mexicano. So Chicano, Chicano. But I don't know who or how they created that. No one really explained the video on that. Like, okay, well, how did you guys get that from this? Like, where was the assumption? Where was the studies? Where does it come from? Where does the studies come from? It's just maybe it seemed like it sounded good by somebody just looking at it, saying, "Hey, look, this comes from this," and threw it out there, knowing that they got a following, and it sounded nice. Other than it having really no idea where it comes from, or it being supposedly a derogatory negative word towards Mexicans, and then we picked it up and flipped it and made it something else. That could have happened. We don't really know. And even when you watch the modern the 40th anniversary of the Memorial Auditorium, Chicano Art Memorial Auditorium, like I explained many times, showed it. The guy, he's a Peruvian Chicano. He explains he was a part of the movement. But in the beginning, they asked everybody What is a Chicano to you? What does a Chicano mean? Everybody gives their version, but and then at the end of everyone giving a version, some white guys like the most modern or accepted is Chicano comes from Mexicano and this and explains it, and it's like, well, where does the evidence say? Where's the study? Who's it? Who's saying this from? In what article from 1950s or 40s or 20s saying this is where Chicano comes from? What historian before the historian or Chicano Mexican American specialist, where did they pull this from? Because I know the Mexica movement threw that idea out there, and a lot of people ran with it. But when I see, I was like, well, where did you guys get it from? Because I believed it at first too. Just oh shoot, dang. But it's like, okay, you study the Chicano movement, but you study as much as you could of what's out there, the leaders, the oldest videos, the oldest paperwork. It's like you study Olin. It's like, wow, you know, I don't know. Where does Chicano come from? Really, was it really a derogatory word that cops or police called Mexicans? Possibly. It sounds. I wouldn't be surprised, but it doesn't come from Mexicano. It sounds nice, but I don't really know deep down in the evidence where does that come from. Besides knowing in modern times the Mexica movement how it made it popular, because other than that, hit me up. Leave your thoughts and comments. Where do you think the word Chicano comes from? Not what it means. I explained it means more than Mexican American, but where does it come from? Prior, besides the Chicano movement making it popular.